Hi everybody, it's Miss Pam from the Andes Public Library and welcome to our story time today. It is Wednesday, September 2nd, 2020, and today I have 4 stories for you. 2 are kind of on the short side. We have Goodbye Summer, Hello Autumn. As we know, here in the mountains, we have a very short kind of spring, summer, fall that lasts 5 months, all 3 seasons, and then we have 7 months of winter. But this is a beautiful time of year here in the mountains. If you get a chance to visit here or just get out for a drive and look at all of the wonderful leaves changing, now is the time to do it because they don't stick around very long. So we've got Goodbye Summer, Hello Autumn by Kenard Peck. And then we have 3 books from the author Kevin Henkes. We have So Happy, one of my absolute favorites, Chrysanthemum, and Chester's Way. And a couple of these books are about precocious children. And that's a big word that basically says that sometimes there are children who develop certain characteristics or abilities earlier than expected. A little bit of blooming going on. Maybe they like to question things or like things a certain way. And I like books about precocious children because I was a precocious child. So, all right, let's start off with Goodbye Summer, Hello Autumn. Hello, late summer morning. Hello, trees. Hello, now that the cool winds have come, we love how our branches sway in the sun. Do you see there? Some birds and some foxes. Hello, playful foxes and singing blue jays. Hello, we are busy looking for food. Some of us are heading south for our winter homes. Hello, walking stick and butterflies. Hello, we're surprised you saw us. We try our best to blend in, and we'll do the same in warmer places. Do you see the walking stick? Oh, there he is. Hello, beavers. Hello, chipmunks. Hello, we have no time to play because we're making cozy nests and dens. It will be cold soon, and we want to get ready. Hello, flowers. Hello, we are leaning into the sun, enjoying the last summer rays. Some of us, like asters and phlox, are late bloomers. We make the end of the season even more colorful. Hello, thunder. Hello, you can hear my low rumble from far away. My clouds loom over the open fields and quiet hills. Hello, breezy wind. Hello, I love to whoosh drizzle and leaves through the misty streets. It's a little rainy today, actually. Hello, chill in the air. Hello, it's time to bring out your thick sweaters and scarves. It's sweater weather time almost. Oh, look at all that. Hello, puddle. Oh, puddles are my favorite, aren't they? Hello, now that the wind has come, I often get covered with fallen leaves. Hello, leaves. Hello, we are changing our colors. Some of us turn red or brown, while others turn gold or yellow. The dogwood leaves turn purple. Hello, big orange sun. Hello, I'm setting earlier and earlier now that the summer is coming to an end, but I will see you again tomorrow. Goodbye, summer. Just these little animals sleeping in their nests. And everyone is sleeping. Hello, Autumn. All right, so we're saying goodbye to summer and hello to autumn. Okay, now our first Kevin Henkes book, So Happy. There's some really nice illustrations in this book, so I'll try to show them to you. Look at that. Oh, they're saying goodbye to somebody on a horse. Pictures by Anita Lobo. Someone had planted a magic seed. The sun shone down, but there was no rain, so the seed didn't grow. There was a little rabbit who went out to explore. He crossed the creek where it was narrow as a ribbon. He wandered and wandered until he didn't know where he was. There was a little boy who wanted something to do, but could think of nothing, so he did just that. The seed was thirsty. The rabbit was lost. The boy was bored. Then the rain came. The creek got bigger. The seed started growing. The boy got excited. The rabbit was wet and scared. Playing in the rain. Do you like to play in the rain? I do. The rain stopped. The creek was as wide as a door. The seed was still growing. The boy had an idea. The rabbit couldn't get back across the creek. The clouds broke up. The creek sparkled and shone, and the seed poked through the ground. The boy gathered sticks. The rabbit raced about, missing his mother. Do you see all the birds? Look at those birds. The sky filled with birds. The creek ran like a faucet. The seed grew leaves and a bud. The boy started to build. The rabbit was too surprised to move. A rainbow appeared. The creek bubbled and hummed. The seed was a flower. The boy finished his bridge. The rabbit crossed the creek. The flower was ready. The rabbit was home. The boy was hungry. Now the flower is gone. The rabbit is asleep. And the boy has a present for his mother. So happy. Oh, and look, his dad brought him a book about bridges. He built a bridge. Okay, so on to Chrysanthemum. I love this book. It also has a music teacher in it. That's another reason why I love this book, because I'm a music teacher. Okay. Learn all about Chrysanthemum. The day she was born was the happiest day in her parents' lives. She's perfect, said her mother. Absolutely, said her father. And she was. She was absolutely perfect. Her name must be everything she is, said her mother. Her name must be absolutely perfect, said her father. And it was. Chrysanthemum. Her parents named her Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum grew and grew and grew, and when she was old enough to appreciate it, Chrysanthemum loved her name. She loved the way it sounded when her mother woke her up. She loved the way it sounded when her father called her for dinner, and she loved the way it sounded when she whispered it to herself in the bathroom mirror. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum loved the way her name looked when it was written in ink on an envelope. She loved the way it looked when it was written with icing on her birthday cake, and she loved the way it looked when she wrote it herself with her fat orange crayon. Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum thought her name was absolutely perfect, and then she started school. On the first day, Chrysanthemum wore her sunniest dress and her brightest smile. She ran all the way. "Hooray!" said Chrysanthemum. "School!" But when Mrs. Chudd took roll call, everyone giggled upon hearing Chrysanthemum's name. Here's Mrs. Chudd. Don, Eve, Louis, Al, Les, Kay, Max, Sue, Bill, Pat, Tom, Sam, Ken, Joe, Rita, Victoria, Chrysanthemum. "It's so long," said Joe. "It scarcely fits on your name tag," said Rita, pointing. "I'm named after my grandmother," said Victoria. "You're named after a flower." Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and informed Mrs. Chudd that Chrysanthemum's name was spelled with 13 letters. "That's exactly half as many letters as there are in the entire alphabet," Victoria explained. "Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria," said Mrs. Chudd. "Now put your head down." "If I had a name like yours, I'd change it," Victoria said as the students lined up to go home. "I wish I could," thought Chrysanthemum miserably. "Welcome home," said her mother. "Welcome home," said her father. "School is no place for me," said Chrysanthemum. "My name is too long. It scarcely fits on my name tag, and I'm named after a flower." "Oh, pish," said her mother. "Your name is beautiful, and precious and priceless and fascinating and winsome," said her father. "It's everything you are," said her mother. "Absolutely perfect." Chrysanthemum felt much better after her favorite dinner, macaroni and cheese with ketchup, and an evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. That night Chrysanthemum dreamed that her name was Jane. It was an extremely pleasant dream. The next morning Chrysanthemum wore her most comfortable jumper. She walked to school as slowly as she could. She dragged her feet in the dirt. "Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum," she wrote. "She even looks like a flower," said Victoria as Chrysanthemum entered the playground. "Let's pick her," said Rita, pointing. "Let's smell her," said Joe. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. The rest of the day was not much better. During nap time, Victoria raised her hand and said, "A chrysanthemum is a flower. It lives in a garden with worms and other dirty things." "Thank you for sharing that with us, Victoria," said Mrs. Chudd. "Now put your head down." "I just cannot believe your name," Victoria said as the students lined up to go home. "Neither can I," thought Chrysanthemum miserably. "Welcome home," said her mother. "Welcome home," said her father. "School is no place for me," said Chrysanthemum. "They said I even look like a flower. They pretended to pick me and smell me." "Oh, pish," said her mother. "They're just jealous and envious and begrudging and discontented and jaundiced," said her father. "Who wouldn't be jealous of a name like yours?" said her mother. "After all, it's absolutely perfect," said her father. Chrysanthemum felt a trifle better after her favorite dessert, chocolate cake with buttercream frosting, and another evening filled with hugs and kisses and parcheesi. "A Rose by Any Other Name, Understanding Identity" is the book that Dad is holding. That night Chrysanthemum dreamed that she really was a chrysanthemum. She sprouted leaves and petals. Victoria picked her and plucked the leaves and petals one by one till there was nothing left but a scrawny stem. It was the worst nightmare of Chrysanthemum's life. Chrysanthemum wore her outfit with 7 pockets the next morning. She loaded the pockets with her most prized possessions and her good luck charms. Chrysanthemum took the longest route possible to school. She stopped and stared at each and every flower. "Chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum, chrysanthemum," the flowers seemed to say. That morning the students were introduced to Mrs. Twinkle, the music teacher. Her voice was like something out of a dream, as was everything else about her. The students were speechless. They thought Mrs. Twinkle was an indescribable wonder. They went out of their way to make a nice impression. Mrs. Twinkle led the students in scales. Then she assigned roles for the class musical. Victoria was chosen as the dainty fairy queen. Rita was chosen as the spiffy butterfly princess. Joe was chosen as the all-important pixie messenger. And Chrysanthemum was chosen as a daisy. "Chrysanthemum's a daisy, chrysanthemum's a daisy," Joe, Rita, and Victoria chanted, thinking it was wildly funny. Chrysanthemum wilted. She did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She thought it was absolutely dreadful. "What's so humorous?" asked Mrs. Twinkle. "Chrysanthemum," was the answer. "Her name is so long," said Joe. "It scarcely fits on her name tag," said Rita, pointing. "I'm named after my grandmother," said Victoria. "She's named after a flower." "My name is long," said Mrs. Twinkle. "It is?" said Joe. "My name would scarcely fit on a name tag," said Mrs. Twinkle. "It would?" said Rita, pointing. "And," said Mrs. Twinkle, "I'm named after a flower, too." "You are?" said Victoria. "Yes," said Mrs. Twinkle. "My name is Delphinium. Delphinium Twinkle. And if my baby is a girl, I'm considering Chrysanthemum as a name. I think it's absolutely perfect." Chrysanthemum could scarcely believe her ears. She blushed. She beamed. She bloomed. Chrysanthemum, Chrysanthemum, Chrysanthemum. Joe, Rita, and Victoria looked at Chrysanthemum longingly. "Call me Marigold," said Joe. "I'm Carnation," said Rita, pointing. "My name is Lily of the Valley," said Victoria. Chrysanthemum did not think her name was absolutely perfect. She knew it. Epilogue. Overall, the class musical was a huge success. Chrysanthemum was absolutely perfect as a daisy. Victoria made the only mistake. She completely forgot her lines as the dainty fairy queen. Chrysanthemum thought it was wildly funny, and she giggled throughout the entire dance of the flowers. Eventually, Mrs. Twinkle gave birth to a healthy baby girl, and of course, she named her Chrysanthemum. There we go. All right, now, last, we have Chester's Way. We're going to learn all about Chester and his way of doing things. Or maybe his way, his will. We'll see. "Hello, my name is Chester. I like croquet and peanut butter and making my bed." Chester had his own way of doing things. He always cut his sandwiches diagonally. I do too. He always got out of bed on the same side, and he never left the house without double knotting his shoes. Chester always had the same thing for breakfast, toast with jam and peanut butter, and he always carried a miniature first aid kit in his back pocket, just in case. "You definitely have a mind of your own," said Chester's mother. "That's one way to put it," said Chester's father. Chester's best friend Wilson was exactly the same way. That's why they were best friends. Chester wouldn't play baseball unless Wilson played, and they never swung at the first pitch or slid head first. Wilson wouldn't ride his bike unless Chester wanted to, and they always used hand signals. If Chester was hungry, Wilson was too, but they rarely ate between meals. "Some days I can't tell those two apart," said Wilson's mother. "Me either," said Wilson's father. Chester and Wilson, Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. Some of the things they were doing together. They loved to go on picnics. Once when Wilson accidentally swallowed a watermelon seed and cried because he was afraid that a watermelon plant would grow inside him, Chester swallowed one too. "Don't worry," said Chester. "Now if you grow a watermelon plant, I'll grow one too." Chester duplicated his Christmas list every year and gave a copy to Wilson because they always wanted to do the same thing, always wanted the same things anyway. For Halloween, they always dressed as the things that went together: salt and pepper shakers, 2 mittens on a string, ham and eggs. "They really are 2 peas in a pod," said Chester's mother. "Looks like it," said Chester's father. In spring, Chester and Wilson shared the same umbrella. In winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In fall, they raked the leaves together. And in summer, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Did you see those things? Chester and Wilson, Wilson and Chester, that's the way it was. And then Lily moved into the neighborhood. Lily had her own way of doing things. "I'm Lily, I'm the queen, I like everything." She wore band-aids all over her arms and legs to look brave. She talked backwards to herself sometimes so no one would know what she was saying. "I'm Ma Lil," and she never left the house without one of her nifty disguises. Lily waved at the cars that passed by, even if she didn't know who was in them. And she always carried a loaded squirt gun in her back pocket, just in case. I like that idea. She definitely has a mind of her own, said Chester. That's one way to put it, said Wilson. When Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, they said they were busy. When she called them up on the phone, they disguised their voices and said that they weren't home. If Lily was walking on one side of the street, Chester and Wilson crossed to the other side and hid. She's something else, said Chester. Looks like it, said Wilson. That doesn't seem very nice, does it? Let me see. One day while Chester and Wilson were practicing their hand signals, some older boys rode by popping wheelies. They circled Chester and Wilson and yelled personal remarks. Chester and Wilson didn't know what to do. Just when they were about to give up hope, a fierce-looking cat with horrible fangs jumped out of the bushes and frightened the older boys away. Who do you think that is? Are you who I think you are? Chester asked the cat. Of course, the cat replied. Thank you, Lily, said Chester. You're welcome, Chester, said Lily. Thank you, Lily, said Wilson. You're welcome, Wilson, said Lily. I'm glad you were wearing a disguise, said Chester. And I'm glad you had your squirt gun, said Wilson. I always do, said Lily, just in case. Afterward, Chester invited Lily over for lunch. You have a Muscle Mouse cup, said Lily. Of course, said Chester. I do too, said Lily. Same here, said Wilson. Chester and Wilson cut their sandwiches diagonally. Lily asked Chester's mother if she had a cookie cutters, and she made stars and flowers and bells. That's neat, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. That night, Lily invited Chester and Wilson to sleep over. You have a nightlight, said Chester. Of course, said Lily. I do too, said Chester. Same here, said Wilson. Chester and Wilson wanted toast with jam and peanut butter for breakfast the next morning. Boring, said Lily. Try this instead. This is good, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. Look, she made a face on her sandwich. After that, when Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, they said yes. When she called them up on the phone, they had pleasant conversations. And if Lily was walking on one side of the street, Chester and Wilson waved and ran to catch up with her. Chester and Wilson taught Lily hand signals, and she taught them how to pop wheelies. Lily taught Chester and Wilson how to talk backwards, and they taught her how to double knot her shoes. Some days I can't tell those three apart, said Lily's mother. Me either, said Lily's father. Chester and Wilson and Lily. Lily and Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. For Halloween, they dressed as the three blind mice. For Christmas, Lily gave Chester and Wilson nifty disguises, and they gave her a box of multicolored shoelaces, extra long for double knotting. They loved to go on picnics. When Chester and Wilson told Lily about how they had each swallowed a watermelon seed once, Lily swallowed 3 of them. I'll grow a watermelon plant for each of us, she said. In spring, Chester and Wilson and Lily shared the same umbrella. In winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In fall, they raked leaves together, and in summer, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Chester and Wilson and Lily, Lily and Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. And then Victor moved into the neighborhood. Uh-oh. What's Victor doing? He's chasing something. What is that? A butterfly. All right, I hope you enjoyed our stories today. And for those of you who are going back to school, good luck. And I hope that everything goes well for you. And remember to keep reading and read as many books as you can, because books make you smart. All right, it's Miss Pam signing off from the Andes Library. Take care. Have a great week.